Hello to everyone who's currently watching this video and welcome to Tamam's cooking channel. Today I'm going to be sharing this delicious ملوخية recipe. I'm very sorry that I have not posted any recipes within the past month because we were doing kitchen remodeling and then I sadly injured my arm, so few weeks of muscle relaxers and I'm feeling better now. So here we are making a ملوخية. So if you guys would like to find out how to make this recipe, just keep on watching. And bismillah, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my chicken. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but what I like to do is I like to add about a scoop of vinegar and a tablespoon of salt along with the water, and I mix it with my chicken and I let it sit for about an hour, and then I wash my chicken. I take off the skin, and then I also remove the fat. And for the big pieces like the chicken breast, I like to cut that in half, and then it's ready for cooking. So here I'm going to add a drizzle of vegetable oil, and I'm going to start by adding in my garlic, and I'm going to brown my garlic just slightly, and I've taken out about a tablespoon of the garlic, and I'm going to leave that on the side for later along with a little bit of oil. That's just what brings all the good flavors into the ملوخية. So we're going to let that sit on the side, and I'm going to add my chicken back in here and let that brown with the garlic. And now that I have my chicken started, I'm going to move on to my rice. I specifically like to use the long grain basmati rice. So I have added 1 bowl of rice into my water. I gave it a quick rinse, and then I'm going to let that soak for about 15-20 minutes. And now we're going to move back to the chicken. So now that you can see that I've got some color into my chicken, I'm going to go ahead and start with my spices. My favorite spice to use specifically with ملوخية, not just for the chicken but for ملوخية itself, is lumi, and this is just dried lemon. It's just one whole dried lemon. I've also added 3 bay leaves and half a teaspoon of 9 spice, a small sprinkle of black pepper, and a small sprinkle of white pepper, 3 pieces of cloves, and 2 pieces of cardamom. And this is like one of my favorite spices actually, and I've seen this at Walmart and I had to grab it, and now it's become one of my favorites. It's just bouillon tomato powder. And also I'm adding 1 whole teaspoon of chicken bouillon powder, and that pretty much sums it up for my spices. And once we've added that in, we're just going to give this a quick stir. And the only thing we're missing at this point is salt. You know, the bouillon cubes, the tomato, and the chicken bouillon that we added in have salt in them, so you don't want to add too much salt. So I'm adding like a small teaspoon of salt. I'm going to let this cook for about 15 minutes, cover it, and in the meantime I'm going to go ahead and dice my green pepper and tomato. And I find that the green pepper adds really good flavoring into ملوخية. It's like an Egyptian trick. I've seen that on a previous video, and I've been doing it for a very long time, and it definitely stepped up my ملوخية. So here I have sliced and diced my tomato, and I'm going to go ahead and add that in with my chicken. Of course, this has been cooking for about maybe 15-20 minutes now. So I'm going to add in my tomato, and here I have chopped my green pepper, and this is just 1 whole green pepper, and that will also go in with my chicken. And now we're going to give this a nice stir. You can see all these beautiful colors. It smells great. And we're just going to let this cook for about 10 more minutes. And once it cooks for a little bit more, we're going to go ahead and add in our tomato paste. And this is just 1 whole cup of tomato paste. And I'm going to be adding in about 7 cups of water. So you'll see me adding in 7 cups of water. And this will give the molokhia a really good consistency. And I mean, honestly, with tomato paste, certain brands are thicker than others. Usually I go with the Hunt's and I usually use 1 can. I think it's 8 ounces. I don't have any at home now, but that's what I usually use. But with certain brands, it could be a different consistency with the tomato paste. So with the specific brand that I used, I needed about 1 cup to 7 cups of water. And this is the brand I used right here. It's just one of the one I got at the Arabic store. And now my rice, I've added a drizzle of vegetable oil, and I'm also adding 1 whole cup of vermicelli noodles. I'm going to give that a stir, brown them together. And now that our vermicelli is browned, I'm going to go ahead and add in my rice and stir everything together. Let the rice be a little toasty. And then we're going to go ahead and add in our water. So earlier I added 1 bowl of rice. I like to always measure my rice, even though I could eyeball it. I don't know, I just like to use specific measurements with rice. So I used 1 bowl of rice. I'm going to be adding in 2 bowls of water. This is really hot boiling water. So that's 1 and 2. I'm also going to be adding in 1 teaspoon of salt. Give it a nice stir. And we're going to wait on the water to reach a certain point before we actually cover the pot. So for me, I like to make sure that you can't see any more of the water at the top and it reached the level of the rice, and then I cover it and I turn the heat down and I let it cook for about 10 more minutes. And moving back to the molokhia, I'm adding 1 cup of molokhia leaves into my tomato sauce. And this is 1 whole cup. I'm going to give that a stir. Check the consistency. My consistency turned out great. And let this cook for about 15 minutes. You can cover your pot and let it cook for about 15 minutes or leave it uncovered. And we're checking our rice here. It is fully cooked. This is like 10 minutes later. It looks great. And our molokhia is also just about done cooking. And you don't want to forget about that garlic from earlier. Remember, we set that on the side. I usually like to add that towards the end when the molokhia is just about done cooking. And I let it cook for about 5 minutes with the garlic. And this is it. This is our finished molokhia recipe, ready to be served. And you guys, this molokhia turned out really good. What you can do now, if you have lemon, you can sprinkle some lemon onto your molokhia. But I don't have any, and I actually used that dried lumi from earlier, so I didn't really need it. It turned out really good just the way it is. If you guys like this recipe, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.